Good evening, everyone. My name is George A. Wilson, your President of California, Democratic presidential candidate, write-in candidate. I'm praying that everybody's having a wonderful evening, and I hope everybody's having a good day. Hope you had a good day. Have a productive day. I want to talk about a few things tonight, just to help Americans heal and do better, and try to do better. First things first, as always, that we have to mention that God is the only one that can heal. And we're looking to God for wisdom and strength and guidance through this time that we're now living in. Also want to reach out to the Floyd family and let them know that you're not alone, and you have people in various parts of the United States that may not be out there in the protests, and I may not be there with you personally. Believe me, if time and situations were different with the COVID virus, and transportation wasn't such a hinder, I would have been in St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I would have come to share with the family in their trying times. Got to let people know straight up and down. I'm first and foremost, and always will be, a man of God and pastor first. Politics secondary. Well, third thing in. Also, I'm married, so that makes me a husband. So, family has always been important. Important to me, whether extended family or family that you come to know removed, however you want, removed due to divorce or whatever, however situations come up in your life. To me, family is always going to be family. Don't matter who. If I come to know you personally and you are my family. Want to also use this platform for a few minutes to reach out to the Austin family in Warren County, in Warrenton, North Carolina. Lost a great friend, Ernest Austin. I know the family well, personally. Was my ex-family. However, we came to love each other and come to know each other in such a way that when they hurt, when they lose someone, especially someone I knew personally, it also resonates with me at a distance. And I want to say to Maurice and his son and his daughter Phyllis, only two children he has, that I'm praying for you guys. And I want to commend you guys how you were there with your father through thick and thin. And you went through some of the hardest times of your life. And I just want you to know God sees your tears. We see your tears. And here at the Shepherd Heart Outreach Ministry, which is the ministry I'm pastor of, we're praying for you guys. And we're just, like I said, our prayer is going to be with you today, tomorrow, and continue as long as you need it. We're going to always check in on you and see how you're doing. I know this is a hard, trying time for you guys, especially in a time that we're living in right now with so much stuff going on. You got the coronavirus, and then you have the rioting going, the protesting and rioting going on. So it's really a real bad time. But we also know that death is no stranger to any of us. We come into this life, we just don't know how we're living it. We're leaving it. We know how we come into it. We just don't know how we're leaving it. So I just want to put that out there for you guys. That I may be in California, but I'm with you guys. I want you to know that. Anything you need from me, you just let me know. You guys see me all the time on Facebook. You have my Facebook account. And if you check my timeline, my telephone number is there. You can call me, and I will definitely contact you back. Also, I'm on Facebook Messenger. So I want to send that, even from the Wilson family to the Austin family. We want to let you know that we love you, and we're here with you in your time of bereavement and grievement. And you have nothing really to grieve. Bereavement, maybe. But grieving, you don't have nothing to grieve. You showed your love and your admiration and your respect to your father. And that will go on for the rest of your lives, because it's everything that goes on in this life is ongoing. Memories, here. Oh, Lord, get that out of there. Memories are ongoing, and we continue with memories long after a loved one has gone on. And I believe some of you showed up to my dad's funeral many years ago, and to my mother's funeral, and I'll never forget that. So God bless you guys. Also to the Floyd family, I want to also let you guys know that we're here for you as well. We don't dismiss. We are deeply disturbed what happened to your family, and we want to say that we love you here too at the Shepherd Heart Outreach Ministries. Also, as a candidate for the President of the United States, running for change, amen, for the American people, that these kinds of things will not continue to happen long after the protest is over. That we take what we have, and we continue to march on for change and equality in a time of injustice. So we are here for you, and we will continue to fight for injustice. I want to say God bless. Prayer works. These other three cops are in jail. That they did boosted from the third degree murder to second degree murder. So that's a felony. These police officers will be charged with a more accurate, if you will, punishment for their deeds. I believe with the family, they should be charged for murder one. But again, being also a student of the law, I know how these things work. And just give the process, have faith in I know, law enforcement have separated your family forever. And I'm not telling you because once you take trust away, that's it. It's hard to get trust back. But put your faith in the judicial system, that in the court system, that they will, and in prayer, and in God sees all unrighteousness, that He will move on your behalf, and that this police officer will receive first degree murder, and those that have conspired as well with him or aiding and abetting will receive the exact same punishment after the fact. It's the same thing. You're gonna still pay the same penalty or the same price that he will pay as if they did it themselves. They also helped in it. They just didn't do the deed, but they're going to get charged as if they did the deed. So our prayers, and I know the sigh of relief in your lives. I'm glad there's a ray of sunshine for you guys. Also know that you're going to be memorializing your brother on tomorrow. Again, I wish I could be there with you guys in person, but I believe they said they're going to, now I'm not sure. It's supposed to be televised, so we'll see. If it is, I will be watching and praying with you guys as this memorial of your brother goes on. Again, so moving from there, just wanted these two families that I know. I'm quite sure many people have lost loved ones as well around this time frame, and my deepest heart condolences go out to you all as well. All right, let's get back to some things here. Okay, first off, please remember COVID virus is out there. People are dying. The numbers are rising. Many cases are coming up. New cases are coming. Many people are still dying. Please do what is deemed necessary to protect yourself and others. I know you're out there. I know you're protesting for the right reasons. There's a lot of you that are doing that. But remember, this COVID virus thing is for real. And you can very well contact this sickness. So please, wear your face mask. Have your sanitizers. Sanitize your hands. Wear your gloves. And constantly wipe your cell phones. And I tell you this because, and I'm not talking about, with some sanitizer and a handkerchief or your scarf, but just every so often sanitize it. Because you're on your phones talking, people are yelling and hollering and whatever. All these things are in the air, and it falls on surfaces. And people's cell phones, this stuff falls on your cell phone. And you could very well catch this. There's tear gas. People are coughing and hacking, sneezing, and tears. These things also can carry the virus. You can get it from somebody else because they're trying to help you, or there might be the carrier that is out there, and now they're pouring out their pores, these things, because of the gas mask. So again, invest in a breathing apparatus. So if you're going to protest, if you're going to peacefully protest, wear a breathing apparatus so you do not get strangled by this gas that they're using to deterrent. As a deterrent, or as to move you out the way, or to clear the park, to clear whatever area you guys are protesting in. Okay? So make sure you do that. That is so important to your health and all those people that are around you and your families, because you do go back home and you do not want to carry this stuff back home. And wash your hands. Immediately you come in the home, wash your hands. Change your clothes. If they're, of course, you're going to put them in a laundry basket, or a laundry, however your laundry room, or laundry basket, or throw them directly into the washing machine, and prepare to wash them, because you don't know what's on your clothes. So again and again, be safe. This thing is worse. It's getting worse because we're out here yelling and screaming, and you have a right to do so. But just do so peacefully. Peacefully don't mean passive. Peacefully don't mean quietly. It simply means if you feel you have a right to scream and yell and protest, then protest. Thumbs up to you. Do it, but do it in a respectful manner. Do it in a peaceful manner. Watch yourself. Watch what's around you. Make sure if you come with somebody, make sure you're are in eye distance of who you came with or the group you with, because if they shift, you need to shift too. You gotta also remember there are addict groups out there, and they mean no good. So we don't want you to become victimized. If you feel that you're going to do a sit-in and you know you're going to do one, expect to be arrested. They're going to arrest you, they're going to process you, but they're going to let you go. Okay? Well, does that falls on a permanent record? Probably. But it's nothing to keep you from a job, buying a house, getting a car. It doesn't affect your credit. None of that. So I think we all kind of get that, but just, it just depends. As long as you're not formally charged with something other than criminal, as long as it's not criminal, you're good. So just make sure if you decide to do this, you're going to get arrested, but just make sure it's not criminal. Do it peacefully. They come tell you to go, get up, and so they can put the thing on you. Just be cooperative and follow their directions. Be peaceful about it, and go with them. And you're going to be processed. I'm telling you that now. You're going to be photographed. Some people have never been inside of a police station. They never know. You don't know what they do in processing, but you will be handcuffed. Well, zip tied, because they ain't got enough handcuffs for that. But you will be zip tied, it's just like handcuffs. You will, behind your back, you will go to the police station, and you will be processed. So, again, like I said, after the process, they're not going to jail you unless you did something crazy. They'll just let you go. Okay? So, when you find out where you're going, contact someone so they'll be waiting outside after the process to pick you up. But anyway, I'm quite sure some of you already know this already. But again, so remember, if this is what you're going to do, make sure everything you do is a peaceful situation. It's not rioting. It's not looting. It's not aggravated assault. It's not, all those things that they could probably find and pin to you. So make sure everything you do is not criminal. But you have a right to protest under the U.S. Constitution, under the law. It's not breaking the law. It's breaking curfew, though. But it's the same thing, long as you don't do anything to agitate the officers or even those that are around you. Just be safe about it. Always be safe about what you do. I'm with you on that. I draw the line when it starts getting to a riot and looting and destruction of private property, destruction of government buildings and municipal buildings, stores and stuff, people that, businesses, all that, churches, all that. I draw the line. That is definitely wrong. That is the wrong way to get your message out. Don't be hanging out with groups that do this, because there are some people out there that are not peaceful. So they will inject some stuff. Just make sure you're not part of that group, that you don't get yourself marred and named with that group, and then you don't be that kind of person, because that's what they're going to look at. Also, cautionary. I'm going to get to my point in a little bit, but cautionary. These are military individuals. They are trained. They are National Guards. They are active duty soldiers on U.S. soil. Please do not try them. These guys are trained to kill. And trust me, don't test them. Because you'll lose your cause. You'll lose your cause so quickly. And it'll turn into something a whole lot worse than you would ever dream that you would ever imagine in your lifetime. I'm talking to you hothead young people that sometimes they get a little carried away and they don't think sensibly, and they go out here and make these crazy mistakes. So I'm telling you, don't do something that'll follow you for the rest of your life, or you'll watch somebody close to you get mauled down by an M16 or an M1 automatic weapon. These gun or Glock 40s, Glock 9. Military don't carry Glock 40. Glock 90 carry 40s and better. 45s, whatever. Okay? These are trained professionals. Snipers, if you please. Okay? They know what they're doing. Please do not push back on these military personnel. Now, their job is supposed to keep the peace and protect private property, protect your rights, and protect you as well. So, state your point. I would say, in my mind, they're not the people that that's going to listen to you anyway. These are not the people that you want to be protesting in front of. You want to take it to the courthouses. You want to take it inside the courthouse if necessary. You want to take it to the governor's mansion. You want to take it to the city hall. You want to take it to the highest court in your county or in your state. That's where you want to take these protesters to. Just randomly, just in the streets, stopping at certain places in front of a police precinct, CNN buildings. You're not going to get heard that way. And they're going to look at you guys as bad people. It's bad enough it's racism. And they're going to look at us, in which they already have labeled us as thugs, and other things the president has said about us. And so we got to prove them wrong, still make your point, but prove them wrong at the same time. So nonviolence is the way to go. And state your point. And you keep coming back and you continue to state your point. Now, I don't believe, now I think some people made it bad for others. You guys had Lafayette Park in Washington, D.C. You held it. You protest there during the day. You protest there at night, peacefully for the most part. You were not even a block away, block and a half, away from the front door of the White House. You had perfect positioning. It just takes a few people that want to create such a problem. Now you guys cannot even go back into Liberty Park. I mean, yeah, that's what it is, Lafayette Park. You can't go back in there no more. And then they move you down the street, technically away from the White House. So now, you got to figure out how you're going to get this message heard in Washington now. Supreme Court, the Library of Congress, the monuments. The Washington Monument is directly across from the White House. Anybody ever think of that? Lincoln Memorial, not that far away. You really want to make a statement? Y'all get together and go and stand in front of the Dr. Martin Luther King Memorial statue. And y'all do what he said. I have a dream. Everything is calculated. And whoever's setting up these things need to know sites that you could go to that you will be heard. Down city blocks, in residential areas and commercial areas and areas of merchants. That's not a place for you to be rioting. I mean to be protesting. Yeah, people in the neighborhood will see you, but then you get other people join your group and they start throwing stuff in windows, looting. Then it makes your cause non-effect. We want to get our voices heard, but we want to get our voices heard correctly. So start thinking about other avenues. If one is blocked off, okay. Not saying surrender that area. I'm saying have enough sense to say, okay, we've got to still be here because the White House is not that far away, but maybe they see enough of us out here, but not so much of us out here, and we stand off away from the military, but still do our thing. Maybe they'll back up some more. And if they'll back up, they might allow you to come up a little bit more. And eventually you might get back into, Lafayette Park. But until that happens, you got to strategize. We're intelligent people. We may have been down, that was the past, that was the 60s and 70s. This is not the 60s and 70s. This is 2000. This is 2020. And I know some people say, hey, I'm ready to, if I could push a button to redo 2020, I would. Nothing would change much, but yeah, okay. Start from the beginning, I'll start all over again. And then some people are saying, they just wish 2020 just hurry up and just, let's start next year off right, differently. I'll go in the shadow of what happened in 2020. You still got 6 months to go. And it's not how long you're in a thing. And remember this, it's not how long you're in a thing, it's what you do while you're in it that would determine the outcome. It's not so much how long you in a thing. It's what you do. How productive can you be? You gotta think. Use some wisdom. Use some intelligence. I'm quite sure there's a lot of you out there that are everyday people that are hurting, that just saying this has just gone way beyond too much. This is just beyond. I understand. I applaud. I'm rejoicing with the Floyd family, but that these officers finally been brought to justice. I want them to do more. I hope they do more. But this is no longer about the Floyd family anymore. This is about protesting your rights, the saying that you're tired of the injustice and the corrupt system that we have, and that you're tired of taking it. Now, someone said in some colorful ways, I heard one gentleman do a video on yet last evening, and he was so right about everything he said, but it was kind of colorful, if you will, if you know what I mean when I say colorful. He really didn't care. He colored in the lines when he went to color all out the lines, but he was telling it like it was. Or like it is, as they say, back in the day. He was telling it like it is. Man, powerful brother. A little bit colorful, by the way. But, okay, he made some very interesting points. And he's saying some of the things I'm saying here about be strategic, think. That's what they want to do. They want you to continue to act up. They want you to continue to riot and to act crazy and to lose your mind and to attack law enforcement the way that they're doing in New York City. And I think some of these things are escalated by New York City cops anyway, but that's my opinion. I don't know. I'm not there. I've seen enough on the news who say, well, they could have handled this in a little bit more of a different manner. However, I watched what they did. Pushing people completely on the ground. I mean, just like, boom, get out the way. And it's like, you got to be kidding me, right? You got, and I think it was, again, brutality at its finest. Again, you got to look at this. But then we can't be surprised. Black people are always getting killed by the hand of a white cop. So is Latinos. Always. And the thing about this about them, and I got to speak up for them, because when a Latino brother or sister is murdered, it don't show up in the news. Unless a cop go down with him. Then it shows up in the news. And it's only about the cop. It got nothing to do with the individual. And someone brought that up to my attention and saying, we're not against what's going on with the Afro-American race, but what about us? They do it to us all the time. And we don't never get out there, get to voice our concerns and our hurt too. Because they're murdering us too, every single day. So I'm for the American people, and that's all of us. Afro-American, Latinos, everybody that has a voice that can't be heard or not being heard. And for those of us that don't have a voice, I'm for the American people, and I believe, and everybody has a voice, and you should be heard. And you should not go away in the dark quietly. And you should not be stifled or stomped on or pushed or mistreated because you have a voice. You just got to know how to use that voice. And when it's the right time to use that voice. Is any time that ever been time to get our message out there is now. That brings me to my next subject. I'm going to bite into Donald Trump in a few minutes. When y'all like going, I'm waiting for him to bite into Donald Trump. I'm going to bite into him in a few minutes. I'm going to try to be nice. I'm not going to try to be, I'm trying to give a positive message. So I won't get ugly. But that brings me to my point. If any time for the Afro-American, the Latino Americans, the Mexican Americans, and all the Asian Americans, and all these ethnic groups that have been traumatized by the onslaught of the murders and the deaths by the hands of law enforcement, and mostly they're white cops that are doing this. This is the time to get your voices heard and to get that message out there. And I am your spokesman to get it out there. I am running for president. But I could get your message out there. But I need your help. I need each and one of you to think about it. You're protesting. You're making, you're doing what you're supposed to do. A lot of people say you want to do something constructive. Vote. Get out and vote. Vote for changing your community. Vote for changing your city officials and your local governments. Vote to have new mayors or new governors. If they're not doing the jobs, then vote to get somebody in there that they are, that will vote you run to be the police chief or whatever job you can run for. You all can do it just like anybody else in America can do these jobs. You just got to want to. That's one thing. That's one way you change things. Protest, non-violently, of course. Get out and vote, or support a candidate that you could trust or you have confidence in that could turn this system around together with you. I'm asking for your support. I'm asking for you to help me get moving. Because if at any time that is the right time, and trust me, and I just want to make sure nobody get this twisted or mixed up, because I've been out here running for president before what happened to unfortunate thing that happened to Mr. Floyd. So I'm not using his name. So I will not do that. I will not use his memory to move my campaign. My campaign is not based on what had happened. My campaign is based on the American people, that how mistrust, mistreated, been lied to, been hoogered, been downplayed, been thrown to the wolves. A system that's been crippling American people, and a system that's been robbing the American people for decades and decades before we even got here. And then we got here, and then it's still doing the same thing. And it's still robbing you. In the midst of the pandemic, even in the midst of this outburst, they're still robbing you. People are not being heard. It's time for some of the old heads to take a recess. How they say? Your time is up. It's time to go home. Go sit on your porch. And put some young minds with some very intelligent people in place that will stand and be united and be about the American people and be about change. That's what we have to be about, change. And I don't mean just saying this because people say it all the time. I'm talking about real, honest to God change. Well, how do you, well, sir, I hear you talking to me. How do you think we can go about change? First thing to go about change is we kicked God out of our society a long time ago. First thing we're going to have to do is get God back in to what we kicked him out of. Back into government, back into our schools, back into the public square, back into our churches the way it's supposed to be, unhindered by the state or the government. Get God back into our hearts, back into the mainstream. And I'm talking about the real stuff. I'm not talking about the stuff out there now, the hugging and booging and jumping and all, the boobing and the lights and all, and the music. No. The Word of God. I'm talking about that's how first we do this. Getting God back into everything that we kicked God out of. 2, we have to forgive. And I know that's the hard word for us if we ever as a people going to move forward and ever move to do something greater than you or I ever imagined. You're going to have to forgive. And I know that's hard for us, especially those that have been oppressed. This ain't nothing new. American Revolution. That's how we gain ground. This is nothing new. The Israelites, they hated the Egyptians for 400 years in oppression. But somewhere along the line, they had to learn to forgive the Egyptians that marred their lives. Martin Luther King became a martyr for the civil rights movement. He had to forgive those people that harmed him, that marred him, that rebuked him, that mocked him, that stabbed him. And that was an African American woman, by the way. A little insane upstairs, but yeah. His assassination, the beatings he took, the jail, how they carted him off the jail as like he was a nothing. And all he wanted to do was God's will. He forgave all of them, bombing his house, bombing his church, killing black kids, setting fire on his lawn, KKK setting up crosses, endured public slappings by police officers, being beat with billy clubs back in those days were that hard wood stuff. But he had to forgive them. Then his family had to grow up without a father. But his wife, Coretta Scott King, kept things moving. His children grew up, and they had to learn to forgive the men that set up for their father to be assassinated. They had to forgive James Earl Ray, who shot and killed him. But it didn't stop the civil rights movement. Somehow 50 to almost 60 some odd years later, here we go again in the face of civil rights. We're in another civil rights movement. And it seemed like they want to push back the clock to the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. We're no longer in that time. Believe it, the President Trump, he's trying to make us feel like we're in that time. Racism. Systemic racism in this country. Now, you want to get your voices heard? Now, I believe in absolute truth. That's period. That's what my My campaign is vote for absolute truth in 2020. There's always been that. Not our truth, but God's truth. The real truth. The honest truth. The only truth. But you've got to learn to forgive. Then we ourselves going to have to repent for the way we've been acting. Because we've been acting out due to racism too. Because we have gotten so bitter and so hard and so distraught that hatred has built up in our hearts against them. Our white brothers. They may be Aryan Nation, they may be Anglo-Saxon. They may be Knights of Malta. Well, that was a group. The Knights of Columbia. Different Catholic organizational groups that could care a little less about the Afro-American people. They act like they do, but they don't care about us. But we can have hatred toward them. You want to heal. You want to progress. You want to move on. You want to say civil rights are always going to be here. It's here now. It's then. It's now and in the future. But the only way to do that, you need someone that's going to stand up and represent the people. Martin Luther King stood up and represented the people. There's something about Martin Luther King I didn't tell you guys about yet, and I'll get there. Everybody followed Dr. Martin Luther King because he was a beacon of light and a beacon of hope. In the back of their mind, they knew that they're going to kill this man sooner or later because the white people brewed every time he stepped on stage. Now, Martin Luther King wrote many speeches, and half of those speeches he didn't even finish. He started paying attention to the people and then began to speak from his heart and not from what he written. Some of his messages were pre-scripted messages that they were given to him saying, you got to do it this way, Martin. This is how we get the people. But when he stood at the Lincoln Memorial and he overlooked the people in his last speech in Washington, he forgot about what they written for him. He forgot about what he scribbled. He looked out and saw there's nothing but the sea of black people and white people in one place looking for desegregation. That there's civil rights, that they can have freedom to do what we have today. Listen, in order for this to happen again, now I'm not Dr. Martin Luther King in any way. I wish I met the man, but I was a kid at the time. I wish I'd known what it was really like to march on the streets of Selma, Alabama, and Montgomery, Alabama, Birmingham. I would like to have sat next to Dr. Martin Luther King in the Birmingham jail and just to listen to his intelligence. That man was very intelligent. And listen to his thoughts and his wisdom on stuff. I wish I had that opportunity. Some did. And some's going on now. And there's some still here today that can remember those days when Dr. Martin King spoke and how they felt when they realized he was no longer looking down at his notes, but he was then speaking from something in his own heart, that something changed in him. It's like the presence of God just bloomed up in him, grew up, just brewed up in him, and he was no longer, because I heard people say, that was no longer Martin, that was somebody else. That was God speaking to Martin Luther King. I'm not another Martin Luther King. I can't be. I'm not trying to be. I don't want to be. But I am here. And I understand his struggles. And understand what was going on then. And believe me, in the history books, they got it wrong. A lot of it. But we won't go there. But what I'm saying is, how's it any different from then to now? Except the only difference is now we have those rights and they're trying to take those rights. That those people fought for, bled for, had the waters turned on, the hose turned on them, vicious dogs turned on them, beaten, thrown in jail for the rights that we have now, and they're trying to take those very same rights today that they fought for and bled for. They're trying to take those rights today away and trying to rewrite the Constitution and take our civil liberties. See, when you're out here fighting and protesting, know what you're out there fighting for. Stand up for justice and stand against injustice. Stand up for your civil liberties and your rights. The pain goes deeper than what happened in Minneapolis. And God knows that should have never happened, but it did. And maybe there might have been some way that God is using that to help us look at us. You see, you can't go around hating somebody and expect change. Change has to come from within you and spread abroad. If there's nothing but hatred in you, hatred will be spread abroad, and everybody around you will become darkened by your hatred for the white man, or for the in this case the law enforcement that happen to be white, the brotherhood. Come on, because they're all a part of a brotherhood. Let's not. They're Masons, so let's take away all of that conspiracy crap, because they are a brotherhood. I know. That's why I had a lot of hard times when I was in law enforcement, because they wanted me to join a brotherhood. They want me to join a Masons, and I refused to join the Masons. And very few cops, if you're not part of the brotherhood, excuse me, you're not really, they don't really, they get along because you have to. But if you find yourself in a real bad situation, they may not come to your aid, because they look at you as an outsider. You wear the blue, all the green, and as far as the deputy sheriff, the tan and the green. It's a brotherhood. And they have, well, I'm going to go into all that. But anyway, because I'll go into a whole other sphere, which I don't want to get into. But do you understand what I'm saying? So it's a brotherhood with them. And it goes up the chain farther than you can ever imagine. Corruption goes up the chain. All I mean to the federal government. It goes up the chain. And I understand the pain, believe me. I understand the pain. I might not be out there on the lines with you guys right now, or right at this moment, but I understand the pain. Any human being to sit back and watch this on the news and see the destruction that these other groups are causing, and they can see that the message that the protesters, that the peaceful protesters are trying to get out is being marred by those that just don't care. They're not there for that. They're there for their agendas, to basically cause mayhem among those that are actually trying to do something. You need somebody that's going to stand up for you. And so I'll stand on the front line. I'll stand in the place that Martin Luther King stood. And I'll stand up and voice every concern that every ear will have no choice but to listen. Martin Luther King did. And we're coming right back at that time. I need your help. I need you guys to look at my Facebook page. You can find me very easy. It's George A. Wills Facebook. Just look me up. You'll see my political page pop up. You'll see my ministry page pop up. You'll just see my regular Facebook page. There will be another PayPal. I mean, not PayPal, but GoFundMe page up there. It's for $4,500. And that's to do what God called me to do. It's also do for ministry purposes. Because that's what this is. To reach God's people, to change the hearts of men for the inner workings of God, to make this nation a better nation. To fight against racial, systemic racism. You know what kills racism? Love. That's what kills racism. Love. And I need this $4,500 to get my name from the West Coast to the East Coast. Get this message that you all been hollering about, that you all been protesting about, the same message across the nation. To let Donald Trump know that Joe Biden isn't the only candidate the Democrats have. You're looking at one. And no disrespect to Mr. Joe Biden, because he's been doing this for 30-something odd years. I like some of the things Vice President Joe Biden is saying, former Vice President Joe Biden is saying. And there's some things I kind of find a little iffy. And they probably say the same thing about me, who knows. But I find it a little iffy in certain areas. If you're going to you're going to say your President Trump is this, he's that, he's done this, he's done that, then why aren't you? Now, they showed a photo op of him being at a black church, and he was there. He said a few things or whatever. I didn't get the whole video. Somehow, you start playing the video and then it cuts off. You get a little snippet of it. They don't give you the whole video as to, And so I didn't catch the whole video. So I don't know all he said. But it doesn't stop at visiting an all-black church. See, it's not about gaining people's votes, because that's just political. Trying to get the votes, the African-American votes. It's not about curtailing Obama, that was very popular in the African-American communities, to get his vote, get their votes. No, sir. You got to understand, nothing personal, and this is not racism, but you got to look in the mirror. Bruh, you're white and I'm brown. There's a big difference. You came from a different era. I understand you saying, well, I know what it's like to come up hard, and maybe you did. And we can respect that. I could certainly, obviously you worked hard to get to where you are. You went through all kinds of stuff to get to where you are. Now, I won't even get into the fact how, I don't know how you did it, but I got a very good idea, but that's not my business. I'm not out shooting at Joe Biden. I'm saying that no one understands what a black person goes through but a black person. Nobody understands struggle, because Joe Biden never lived in the projects before. No, Joe Biden never was out and playing with your friends in the project, and cops on there shooting at drug addicts. Joe Biden don't know nothing about that. Joe Biden don't know what it's like to go to high school, to grammar school, and fight in grammar school, and go to high school, and fight in high school. Have to run home nearly every day. Not because you're scared, because the color of your skin draw more people to you than just the people you have a disagreement with. I can fight with my brother tomorrow, we probably talk. Or take a couple of days, we'll talk again. No. In the time I was growing up, especially in high school, it was calming down a little bit because it was late 70s. But when you got into fight in high school, it was becoming more mixture of white people, black people together, and it was, this racism thing was still kind of out there, but it was calming down. But if you saw a fight with two black brothers get together, they go to fight because of some disagreement or whatever, it stopped being about a black on black fighting. You got white people jumping in trying to beat both of the black people up, or the one that's losing, or the one that's losing or winning, how that looks. And I've seen this happen time and time again. Joe Biden don't know nothing about that. When you have to live in a city, which was Jersey City at that time, that was still somewhat divided. Got along, or was tolerated, however you want to look at that, but still, systemic racism always reared its head. My first job had a woman that hated my guts for no reason. I didn't do anything wrong with that woman. But because I was not white, and of that, if you will, that class of economics or whatever, in that class, she didn't like me. And she made my life miserable. Well, one day I turned the pail over on her and let her know how I felt about it. I was 15, 16 at the time. Of course, I got fired. Well, I don't know if I got fired or quit, but one of the two. I don't know. But anyway, I don't remember exactly. But do you understand what I'm saying? So we always had struggle. And we're going to continue to struggle. But the thing about this is we can stop it finally cold. It doesn't matter. Aryan Nation, Anglo-Saxon, Ku Klux Klan, after whatever president keeps the anti-fascist groups, they said the left wing created. You know what? It doesn't even matter left or right. It's about right and wrong. That's what this is about. And I'm finding more wrong than I am right. Always been that way. But we stop it by forgiving folks. We stop it by willing to change from the inside out. We stop it by love, genuine love, from even those that hate you. That's how you kill systemic racism. You could get then you move to all kinds of legislation, and bills, and laws. And then you start trying to remold and weed out the bad apple in your bunch. Because something don't smell right in Mayberry. So you start weeding it out. So you find the ones that are causing all the damage. But first off, before we get to that part, we got to first come together as a people. We're too separated. And some of us just don't believe that we can make a difference. And I'm here to tell you we can. And we can do this together. I've said it plenty of times before. I'll say it again. It's not about one man trying to make a change. It's about all of us working together to change the federal government from the White House across, then to your local governments, your regular government, and your local governments, and your local municipalities, from the states to the cities. But you got to start first at the top, and then work your way. And we could only do this with the right mayors, the right councilmen, the right senators, the right House members, the right governors, lieutenant governors, city officials. You got to get the right people in the right positions that can work. Get the people unified that we can work together. That's how we're going to do this. Now, is this about putting white people in their place? No, I want them to work with us. We can learn from them. They can learn from us. But first we got to take away the division. What's dividing us? And it's hatred. long historical hatred, prejudices, indifference, the stigma that stains our moral conscience, hatred. Hatred toward our white brothers make us racist too. If you go to protest, you can't protest if you're racist. So that means I need to get out the line and go home and work on George, because George hates a white man. So if I felt that way, I got to go home until I can figure out why I hate him so bad. Why every time I see him, I want to just do something so, you got to blow. No, my friends, that isn't how it's done. Now someone's coming to me and say, I don't condone half the stuff they do. No, I do not. But then again, I don't condone half the stuff that black people do either. I'll fix that. Think about it. Let's be honest. If I hate them, I might as well turn around and hate some of these people that call them my brother. I might turn around and hate them too. If that's the case. No. America, in order way for us to change, we got to change from within. We got to change ourselves. Look in the mirror before you go to bed and ask yourself, why am I going out here to protest? Am I going out here to protest because this person or that person or this group, because the leadership and all these people set this up? Am I going out here to protest for the right reasons? And if I'm going out there to protest for the right reasons, is it for a namesake or is it because of the injustice? Then you got to look at yourself again in the mirror and say, am I right within myself to go out here and protest? How can I make a difference if the change don't start in me? Come on. See, I'm one of those hard people. I believe in, how they say, tough love and old time love. See, I tell it to you to your face. I'll mess with your mortality, your morals. I'll mess with your integrity. And if I see your character out of order, I'm going to talk about your character. Get it right, man. Because your head ain't right. And it's not in the right place. You might as well join the other side. Because you're not in the right place. You want to make a difference? Change you. Every day. Change something about you. Change something about the way you see people. Every day. That's how we're going to get back together. That's how we're going to stand as a people. That's how we're going to get our voices heard. That's how we can make this movement move more faster. Looking out for one another. Caring enough about one another to say, hey, after it's all said and done for the day, leave peacefully. It's a curfew. Go home. If you didn't make the point that day, just go home. Before you come out the next day, meet up with your leader and say, hey, we beat a dead horse here, bro. Call your neighbors. Call your friends. Excuse me. Say, hey, wear your gloves. Wear your mask. Have some sanitizer. Sanitize your hands. Make sure you sanitize your phones. Do it often. Sanitize your hands and your phones. If you don't have to be on your phones, keep your phones in your pocket. All these things play an important part in protesting. And you have to do it the right way. Now, I'm not saying that these folks out here that's peacefully protesting are doing it wrong. I'm saying that you need to do it better. Smarter. You got to be smarter than your president. God knows it don't take much to do that. Anybody that turns, he already said what he was going to do. He mentioned it. He mentioned the quote from Governor Wallace, George Wallace, in the 60s, 65, 67, during Martin Luther King era. So we're going to turn the hose or turn the wild dogs on you. And he made it look like if you cross the line, we're going to turn the dogs on you. If that wasn't a sign of racism, what was? You're going to turn the dogs on me. Are you out of your mind? Really, dude? But what he was really talking about, the military. I'm going to turn your own military against you. This is what he meant. He's biting at the bits for martial law. Folks, please don't get it twisted. He wants the martial law every state of the union. And if he can get every state of the union to act crazy enough or do something stupid enough, then that's what he's going to do. He wants to shut it down. And the reason why he really wants to shut it down, because we became a little too smart of the scare tactics with coronavirus. What? Trying to keep us at home. Can't go to work. Can't do this. Can't do that. If you do, you got a certain time to get back to the house. Basically, he was curfewing. They were curfewing you by you curfewing yourself or ourselves. Now they're doing it, and they're telling you what you're going to do. That's the whole thing behind everything. See, when you're out there protesting, know what you're out there protesting against. And then he does the most despicable thing I've ever seen. I've seen him do some dumb stuff. But this, what he did in Lafayette Park? Lafayette Park in Washington, D.C. Now, some said he gave the order. No, it was his attorney general that gave the order to clear out the peaceful protesters with tear gas and shields and rubber bullets, to run them out of the park and away from the park. He pushed news crews people and a priest, and some priests, or either one or a few priests, out of the way so he can walk across Pennsylvania Avenue into the park strutting like a peacock. And if he had did like this with his hands, I thought he was this man. Just like a peacock, proud as he can be, with his little peoples, to do a photo op at St. John's Church, Church of the Presidents, whatever, that's what they say. To stand in front of the news media and to take the picture on the most despicable thing I've ever seen in my life. And he didn't even know how to hold a Bible, if it was a Bible. And then you held it in your hand, in your hand, stiff, not like waving it. You didn't open scripture and read from the scripture to calm the people. You didn't say anything about what happened to Mr. George Wallace and offer some condolences to his family. You didn't try to speak to the people that were peacefully protesting and trying to understand their pain and what they're going through, and all they're trying to do is get their voices heard. None of that. You didn't kneel down and take a knee to offer a prayer. None of that. Somebody asked him was that his Bible? He said, it's a Bible. Is that your Bible? Yeah, right. It's a Bible. And then he takes it down, like in disgust that you would even question me if it was a Bible or not. And all they asked him was that his Bible. I think it was basically a journal masquerade as a Bible. Personally, it's my personal opinion of it. I could be solitary wrong, but hey, you only get critical. You follow what I'm saying? And this is the kind of leadership. That's not even leadership. It's not leadership. It's mockery. It's blasphemy. It's every bad thing you could probably name about president that does his best to try to divide a nation and to keep us divided and not once try to unite us. And the problem is, I don't know where his head is at daily. Up his butt, probably. But anyway, yeah, I said it. He got his head up his ass. There you go. Just in case somebody want to understand what I'm really saying. And you got the Prime Minister of Canada sighs for about a good 10 minutes before he could even speak to say what he thinks about what's going on in the U.S. and how it's spreading abroad. And other countries, they're saying the same thing. And they're looking at us. And they're shaking their head. And they're chanting Black Lives Matter all over the world. There were places I didn't know black people didn't even exist. In certain countries I saw on TV, I said, black people in there? You know, but I was thinking to myself, like, okay, yeah, all right, awesome. But the thing about that was they all sending a message to this president. You're the leader of the United States and the free world. You're the leader, not Putin. Even Putin has to respect the United States. And the president of the United States, even though he want to shove his shoulders every now and then, North Korea bucked, but he had to bow down to the president of the United States, because even though he was a bully, but he understands the principle. China too. And we're looking at people from everywhere sending a message to this president telling him, do something. And you know what this dummy does? He sets his own military from an 1807 Insurrection Act, which is so old and nothing even required or even would mentally make somebody think that this is that kind of a problem. And he deployed reservists, the National Guard, and active duty armed forces on U.S. soil. That is deplorable. And those are the vicious dogs he was talking about. Get with the program, people. That's what he was talking about. And that message went all over the world. They said, oh my God. No, he did not. All over the world, they're like going, what is, and everybody's going. And I can't remember this guy that it was just on TV. His own former, somebody in his cabinet that has something to do with the military, that has to do with the deployment of soldiers or whatever, turned around and bit a hole big as day in his butt. They said this guy would never disrespect the president, but he got to a point and said, this is just ridiculous. Come on. I took enough of this. Behind the scenes, but the camera's not on you. I know what goes on behind the scenes, buddy. I know every meeting we went to. I know every situation we were sitting in. And I took some stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, you're the president. I'm trying to respect you, try to give you some heads up and some knowledge. Maybe we know you don't have. Trying to get you to understand some stuff. And you come out here, and excuse my language, God, but give me what I say, and come out here and pull some shit like this on them American people. Don't worry, I'll repent of that. Y'all forgive me. Y'all church folks watching me, please forgive me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Kudos for him. He bit his butt. Told him a new butthole. And because it's idiotic to do what he did. Are you insane, man? Yes, they call him narcissistic. I got other words for him. But anyway, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying not to lose. I am in this fight with you guys. I'm boiling over inside sometimes. I keep it down. I pray and ask God to take this from me so I don't get angry, so I don't get that frustrated. Because as a man of God, I got to try to help keep everybody calm and get everybody to understand, look within and ask God to change you on a daily. Because right now we are all black, white, Asian, Latinos, Indians, Native Americans, whatever nationality you are, if you're in the U.S., we are being tested. You hear me? To our core right now. And it's spreading all over the world in various countries, and they're being tested right along with us. And our stupid leader cannot see the damage he is causing. And he's opened the door. He called these people terror, because he called them terrorists. And somebody must have schooled him and said, don't call these people terrorists because they're not terrorists. They're terrorists, yes. Terrorists, no. Because terrorists are Unabombers. Terrorists come in and kill thousands and thousands of people. Terrorists bomb buildings like they did in Oklahoma. Bomb what they did in Boston Marathon, bomb the Olympics, bomb the World Trade Center twice before it came down. That's terrorism and terrorist. So don't label these people as terrorists. Terror, yes. Terrorists, no. But he kept saying terrorists, and to the point I started thinking, are you trying to tell us something else again? Are you trying to tell us there's something else being orchestrated? That we're still not paying attention? That we, American people, are that slow to thinking that maybe you're still subliminally talking about something more on the U.S. soil? If you ask me, your own people now regretting the fact, the Senate is regretting the fact they didn't turn around and indicted you. In other words, they regret that they didn't go with Mitt Romney thing and say that you should be indicted and kick your butt out of the White House. They're now regretting the idea that they didn't do it. Your own Republican Party has turned against you because they say this stuff is just plain downright sick. And it doesn't make any sense at all. So they're protesting. They need to. So they're yelling. They have to. So they kind of get their voices heard and they're screaming. Let them get it out. They have a constitutional right under the First Amendment to do just that. And please, Mr. President, don't let me read the articles under the First Amendment. And I can show you some things that you violated already. You already violated constitutional law, constitutional rights, and constitutional law. In so many instances, since you've been president in the last 3.5 years, you caused more havoc and hell than I've ever seen in any president that I've ever known. And I go far back, past the Kennedy era. Just before the Kennedy, then Lyndon B. Johnson, and so on and so forth. So I go past the Kennedy era by one president. So I've been around a good little minute. And I've never seen this kind of, we had our problem with Reagan. We had our problem with Nixon. Yeah, we did. Watergate. But you? We had our problem with the Bushes. But you. I never seen nothing like this in my entire life. And if you want to know how old I am, Mr. President, I'm not quite as old as you. Slightly younger. But you know what? It'll take an old dog not to have some sense. And then they said you can't teach an old dog new tricks. They just go with the old ones, the tricks that they know. And the only trick you know is business, and you suck at it. You're smart. Don't get me wrong, Mr. President. You're very smart when it comes to business. You're very smart when it comes to underhanded dealings, backdoor deals. You're very smart when you're dealing with the underworld criminals and crooks and cronies. You're very good with that. That what made you the billionaire tycoon you are today. Shady deals. You're good with that. You're good with name calling. You're good with disrespecting women. You're good with disrespecting women of color. Anybody that stands up to you, you can't stand. Anybody call you a liar, you're ready to have them assassinated. Or just mysteriously just don't exist anymore. You'll throw anybody up on the bus somewhere. You're good at that. So why don't you do this? Why don't you just resign and go back to what you've been doing? And just leave leading a country to somebody that knows exactly what to do, that has the heart, that has the mentality, that has the concern and the love of this country and this people. Because you ask me, a dictator or a king does not give a flying about his country, but he cares about himself. So yeah. Why don't you just resign, Mr. President? Because God knows you done picked this place apart. And then you turn our own military on us. And you ain't finished yet, are you? You're still thinking of demonic ways and devious ways to destroy this country. No, sir. Your power's been stripped from you a long time ago. And I'm not talking about FEMA either. Yeah, like there was a executive order thing. And see, people don't think we're so dumb that you don't think we know what you're doing? Oh, yeah, we know. Because it's not about FEMA. Yeah, okay. And because they already choose, they know who they want to be president in 2020 or 2021 to sit back in that office. They may even choose you because you're the biggest puppet they could, dumb. I'm not going to say it, so I'm going to change the phrase, but dumb butt puppet. They might continue to use you because you're fooled just like you're trying to do the rest of us. Maybe they paid you to act this way. I don't know. But this is plumb local. This is not doing business. You're a businessman. You're supposed to know how to handle stuff. This is not business. It's chaos and mayhem. And it's tragic. And it's downright deplorable. Degrading. Make America great again? Nigga, please. That's right, I just said that word. And all that simply means is unlearned. Ignorant. That's all it means. It's not a derogatory saying, I'm calling you one. I'm just saying, you're just one sorry behind individual that I don't even know if I could call you human or not. And I don't hate you. And I'm going to let everybody know that. I don't hate Donald Trump. I don't. Actually, I love the man. He's one of my sick white brothers. Do I have to like his character? No. His personality? No. The thing he does? Hell no. But I love the man. He's one of us. Just lost. But you're shaming the very country that you say that you love. You took an oath, man. And I'm not talking about them backdoor oaths that you take before you're president. See, I know about those too. I'm not talking about the oaths you take with these secret societies and these government things that you do behind the scene that we don't know nothing about, that we ain't supposed to know about. Okay? I'm not talking about the oath that you take when you go up to Behemoth Grove. Oh, I ain't supposed to know that. Yeah, I'm not talking about those oaths. I'm talking about the oath you took to be the president of the United States. And I'm not talking about the corporation, because that's what the United States is. A big business corporation. You're the CEO. I'm talking about you said that you would protect this country against foreign and domestic. Not a dictator. This is democracy. And you're trying to destroy everything that is democracy. So I'm protesting now. Be a video. You follow what I'm saying? I have a little juice. I don't have a lot of juice. It takes the American people to get behind me to give me the juice I need. See, I care about the people. I'm a U.S. citizen. I came up from the school of hard knocks, the old school, the old love, the true love, the tough love. I came from those eras. I came from those eras. If you didn't do what you're told to do, you get your butt toe out the frame. Okay? I came from those eras. I came from people that cared about you. Your neighbors cared about you so much. If you done something in the neighborhood and they knew you, they tear your butt up and bring your butt to your mama or your daddy and told them what you did. And then you got 2 more whippings coming. Because they cared about you and what you could become and the neighborhood in which you lived in. These people were real people that knew how to love people, and they stuck together through thick and thin. They went to each other's house. They went to see their neighbors needed something. They didn't hesitate to call on them. If you were sick, all you got to do is lean on me. Brother, I got you. But this stuff we say today is not. Listen, like I said, I'm not disrespecting Joe Biden. The man's 78 years old. You have to respect age. Over 30 years experience. I'll never test that man on his experience because I don't have it. So why you would try a man on his experience? Wouldn't work. But what's in your heart? What's in your heart? Does God abide? See, if God abides, then you got a good heart. If God abides, you got forgiveness. If God abides, you have love. You could be angry, godly anger, and still have love for people. You just don't care about what they're doing. You don't care about the way they run things. And so how we get together to do this? We come together as a coalition of one. Not many, all together as one. And we move on Washington. Collectively, our voices come together as one. And we weed out any other group that doesn't have the agendas of love of his brother or his sister. You don't belong in this group. And believe me, government can figure out who's doing what, where, and where you came from, what type of person you are. There might be, it's all kind of things that go, like I said, these secret organizations have people hidden in these groups. That's what I'm saying. You got to know where you are in all times. But anyway, let's move on from that because, a lot of people are going to say, oh, he's a conspiracy nut. I ain't got time for all that foolishness. I just don't. But you understand what I'm saying? I love this country. I was born and raised in the United States of America. And at one time we were proud to stand up and say, I'm so proud to be an American. And you want real honesty? I mean, you want real truth, right? Because that's what I said. I stand for truth, absolute truth. So I'm not going to hide behind this video here. I'm going to tell you about George. Forget the title of presidential candidate. I'm going to tell you a little bit about George. I'm right there with you guys. I know what you feel because I'm feeling it. But am I proud to say I'm an American? I look at the American flag and all it stood for and all it stands for, military, law enforcement. I believe red, white, and blue. But today I bleed red because it covered white and the blue. Because of the systemic racism at the highest level. Because of the things that this president is doing to disarm this country and dishonor the American flag and dishonor the American people. Dishonor the African Americans, the Latinos, Puerto Ricans especially, Mexicans. This man is racist. And none of which he doesn't care about. All he wants to do is remain in power and become president again. A real man would know when he's done. A real man would take whatever that he's done with conviction. Now he knows once he gets out of that office, they can convict the heck out of him. He knows that he will go to trial. He knows that they will get him for everything he ever done while he's sitting in that office. So as long as you stay in office and in power, you're a coward. Because you won't stand up for your own, you won't stand up for your own mess. Because you're afraid. You're shaking at your own drawers. Because you know if you ever get kicked out of the White House, you're going to jail, to prison. Man, you're going to prison for the rest of your life. And you'll die in prison. Trust me, if they don't get you before. Now, I'm not wishing anything bad on this president. Trust me, I'm not. But look what you're doing. Even your own people looking at you funny. They're like, whoa, I know what we were told to do and paid to do, but this guy is going, he is completely off the chain. We don't know. One minute we're following him, another minute we're like going, really? That's what we're supposed to do? But he said in the meeting. Then they follow with him to do this, then all of a sudden he changes something else, and they go like, you know what? Shit. Bro, we about to leave you. You're going to leave you out here by yourself. Because you're crazy. You can't stay to one program. And then nobody agreed to come to American soil to police their own, and if necessary, put down their own. He don't care. All he knows is he give the order they supposed to, or they better do what he says. Now, I know you in the military, and I know they have orders. And they're supposed to follow those orders explicitly. But these are men and women that have a brain of their own. And they know it would be dead wrong for them to interact with regular civilian people, U.S. people, and to put down so much as one. You're not overseas fighting an enemy. You're not over in some country that's bombed and killed American soldiers. Some still have never been brought back to the United States. They're still over there in unmarked graves. See, that's the president didn't even care about them. But they put you on the front line to kill your own, and some in the neighborhoods that you grew up in. I don't see how y'all can do it. If there's one time I would disobey an executive order, that'll be one. But you want to fire me? I'm ready to get out of the military anyway. They always cracked up to be. I don't ever get to see my family. I stay on the go so much. You can think of all these crazy things that come into your mind. But do you understand what I'm saying? These are men and women. Somebody's sons, somebody's daughters, somebody's father, somebody's mother, somebody's uncle, somebody's aunt, cousins. And I'm thinking in my mind. I'm just thinking. And I got to use me. I can't use anybody else. Now I got family members that may still be in the military. Now I believe my second cousin's still in the military. And God forbid he was deployed to U.S. soil to stand post with a weapon that he knows will kill people. And the president gave an order, don't care who they are, candidates or otherwise. And let's say if I was standing before him, and I won't move, and I won't budge. I gotta say something, Mr. President. Do you think that these people, knowing and willingly, know that their mom or their dad, their sisters, their brothers, their daughters, their sons are standing out here in these protests, their cousins? You think that these people are going to be so heartless and take an order from you and kill their own family member for the right of trying to hush their voice? Are you? Because if they do, there's something wrong with them. Kill their neighbors, kill their grandmas, kill their grandfathers, kill the woman that raised them because they're protesting and they won't go home. And so he gives an order and then some stupid fool acts silly and they get agitated. But my mom is in my way, my dad is in my way, and you telling me shoot them? That's the time I would take my weapon. I would surrender my weapon to my commander and go like this. And he goes, what's that for? I'm not shooting my people. I'm not shooting kids, teenagers, young people because they got a voice. I'm not going to shoot them. I signed on to fight enemies outside of the U.S. to protect their lives and the liberty and the freedom of this country. Now you got me turned on the very country that I'm supposed to be protecting to shoot them because they got a voice? Well, anyway, they got to do their job right. It's a sad day for America. I'm sorry. It's a sad day for this country. And it's not going to get any better. So I'm asking you guys, please, I will have another GoFundMe page. All I need is $4,500 to move, to take it. Not only, it's not, you know what? It was a message that I was going to give, but it's no longer my message anymore. It's your message. It's your voice. It's your bleeding heart. It's your struggle, our struggle. That's the message I want to get out. It's no longer a campaign. I was never in it for the money or the votes. I just wanted your trust and your confidence in knowing that I could run this country and bring it back to its former glory or better glory than it ever had. And that our enemies and allies will look at us and say, once again, our allies will say, I can trust the U.S. Or our enemies saying, you know what? Put down the gun. He got a new regime here. And ooh, I don't know what this guy is capable of. You darn skip, you don't know. And you don't want to try me. Trust me. Because right is right and wrong is wrong. And it's time to right all the wrongs in every aspect of the human lives and every issue that we face today. I could talk on and on, guys, but I'm probably running out of camera time. So, again, I love you guys. You just don't know. I love you guys to life. And the only way to beat systemic racism is love. And we got to find that, people. We do. And we can only find that in Christ Jesus. We got to give our lives to Christ. Because we got to work on the inside. Because he works inside and change your heart, then it'll start showing on your outside. And you can change others' hearts. You can start changing the next man next to you, or the next woman next to you. You can sit down and talk to your kids and say you got a right to be angry, but there's a way to do this, the right way to do it. Let's pray first. Let's kneel down and have prayer. First for our Commander-in-Chief, this country, for protection, God's protection from all of our enemies in a time like this. And pray for the American people that are going through so much right now, that there's somehow God sends his peace, not a false peace, but his peace on their life, that they can still protest for the injustice and their rights with the love of God, like Martin Luther King did. We got it in us, and we can move forward, and we can get through this, but we have to do it together. We have to do it safely, because another one of our enemies is still out there. That's coronavirus. And we got to figure out a way to find out what this is and how we can put it into it. But we can't do this while we're busy in full-fledged anger mode and some hatred towards one another, to the point that we forgot about this stuff is still killing us. Especially those underlying issues. It's killing us. So they're killing us in two ways. So we got to think. We got to come together and say, wait a minute, we got to get a grip. I like Joe Biden, but I need somebody going to understand our culture, understand what we've been through, understand what we're going through. Somebody got the heart and the mind for the American people that says, I'm tired of this like you are, and it's time to make a change. You know, the Bible says, what greater love than this, that a man laid his life down for his friends. And he was talking about Jesus Christ. Now, every husband will lay his life down for his wife and his children to protect them. Every wife would fight for her husband, and her children, more her children than her husband, but she would. That's the way it's supposed to be. And every young man and young woman that got age on them, that are adults themselves, and they got elderly parents, and somebody was trying to hurt your parents, you would fight to the death to protect your parents. Am I right or wrong? You never heard of President, even Obama didn't say this, but I'm going to tell you this. And I mean what I say. I'm willing to put my life on the line for every United States citizen, every one of you. Because I know I got some crazies out there. And if I even get within a sniffing, they could sniff me in the wind. You know how Donald Trump works. Even Joe Biden might have called out a few dogs on me. But you know what? They can only harm the body, but they can't do nothing with the soul of the spirit. I'm not worried about any man. I don't fear man, I fear God. And if I love you guys, you're my friends. And you're my family. And nobody threatens my family or my friends. And Donald Trump, you just threatened my family and you just threatened my friends. Look for me, because I'm coming. God bless you guys. Have a smile on you again. Please, please, help me help you. And get this message out there, get our message out there, and get me closer to being your president. It's just not about me. We all have a president. The church will have a president. You will have a president. See, because it's things like this, I wouldn't be stuck in the White House. I'm an on-the-ground president. I will be right there with you. I may have Secret Service around me. I may have protection. But I'll be like, nobody's going to bother with me. You got to do your job. But I want these people to know, don't be afraid of me. You don't have to be afraid of them. I'm here to be with you. That no one hurts my family or my friends without going through me first. And in order to get to me, you got to go through God first, and I don't think that's ever going to happen. So, my name is George Wilson, guys. I am the Democratic president, hopeful, write-in president. Vote for me in November the 3rd as your president of the United States. I am for the people. Believe me when I say that. If I'm going to put my life on the line for those words, you better believe I'm for you. God bless the United States of America, and God bless the American people. God bless you guys.